Hello, good Monday morning. Today is Monday, April 13th, 2020, and we are on the first day of our fifth week in relative isolation. We've all been trying hard to social distance. So, yep, we are Fili Creative. We are a audiovisual company based in central Kansas. My name is Gus.
I'm Tim.
I'm Amber.
Man, is it already actually week 5?
Yes, this is the beginning of week 5. Yep. For us, anyway. Our
so
area
weird.
has been under official isolation since this would be the beginning of week 3, I believe.
Yep.
That's right, because we were a couple weeks ahead.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So, what we typically do is we start with a brief overview of kind of where the pandemic is at. Mm-hmm. Currently, worldwide, there are 1.8 million cases with 114,500 deaths. Globally, our curve is looking like it's flattening quite nicely, which is good. Obviously, let's see, I'll run through the numbers, at least for countries really quick. United States has by far the most cases with 555,000 cases. Next would be China with 84,500. And then Iran with 71,000. Then Turkey with 56. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped Spain with 169,000. France or Germany, I can't tell what that is. And Italy, all of those have big numbers. So there's a lot of cases out there. And we are in the lead with deaths as well, with 22,000 deaths.
I wish I could say I'm surprised, but
I'm not.
The way our country and our government have handled things, it's not surprising. Also, Americans are amongst the most stubborn on the planet, so
apparently we're learning this, aren't we? The United States case growth map is also looking like it's flattening quite well.
Good.
So that's good.
That's solid.
Yep. We are still, I'm going to go on down to the Kansas level. And it's looking pretty flat on the Kansas level too today, which is good. We currently have 1,338 cases with 56 deaths in Kansas. I don't think... Looks like we've maybe had a few more deaths in southeastern Kansas. I've never heard of Bourbon County, but there's Bourbon County, Crawford County. I don't recall Montgomery County. Maybe some of these had deaths before, but I hadn't noticed them.
Right.
So anyway, that's kind of the update as far as the numbers go. What anything from the news you guys would like to discuss?
The only thing I can think of in particular is, there's a couple things. So, I know we had discussed last week about the Republicans basically kind of repealing, or not repeal, like overruling somehow, like the ban on getting together. And then I saw over the weekend, I think it was Saturday.
Yep, it was Saturday afternoon.
The Kansas Supreme Court said that they couldn't do that, and so brought the ban back, which is good. Unfortunately, as a consequence, I don't know how many people have gotten together. I know that there was one church who basically said, "Screw it, we're doing this anyway."
Yeah, I've heard of 2 churches: one in Junction City, a Baptist church, and one in Lawrence, also a Baptist church.
Oh gosh,
that is surprising
those
for
are
Lawrence.
The only 2.
Lawrence has been pretty good about trying to not get together.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of people think that everyone who lives in New York City is liberal.
Right.
And in reality, there's a lot of, every city has a lot of everybody.
That's true.
And while this isn't necessarily a partisan divide, there are people even in Lawrence that's taking it seriously that aren't. So
that is true. I recall from my time that there were a couple things that had happened through town. You guys probably had heard about it, but there was like a group of like white supremacists or like hardcore like Confederate toting guys who like drove down Mass Street and were just like, it was not fun.
Yikes.
Yeah, it was
Good Lord.
not. and they were complete, just not good people.
Yikes.
Ugh.
Yeah, not fun.
I've seen
Yep.
a couple of articles on the news already trying to get ahead of the predictions of how many people Easter is going to add to like the infections list, but it was kind of like what we assumed last Friday when we had heard that ban had changed, was that it was going to be more about families getting together than it was going to be about churches getting together. And they're more worried about just familial spread than they are like public gathering spread at this rate. So
Right.
we'll have to see, because like I've known quite a few people whose families got together over Easter, and they have very large families, and I know of at least 2 that live in Manhattan that had their large family gatherings like that.
Oh man.
So
And say I think luckily my family's been pretty good. I think they more or less stayed home.
That's
at least
good.
I believe so. I haven't checked with like all of them, but
that's good.
A good portion of my family got together. My wife and I didn't participate, which was awkward because we live right next to my parents, which is where it was, and so we
did you
saw
just
them and they saw
look at the
us
glass like
the-
from your bedroom, just with one hand on the window,
Longingly look out the window.
We had to go get groceries in the middle of it, so we like drove by the Easter egg hunt, and then
and you threw eggs
it
at
was
them.
just
You said, "Go inside."
well, it's just awkward. I don't like being put in a position where, like, for the betterment of like, I don't want my parents to get it, for instance,
Right.
Right.
and I don't want to get it,
Right.
and so, yeah, I feel just awkward about it, and yeah, but I definitely feel like we made the right decision not going and not supporting them.
Oh,
in that,
definitely.
but yeah.
That makes
Aside from that,
Anyway.
how were both of your respective Easter weekend?
Well, we got dressed up for no reason, and
I saw that
we took
picture.
I guess we got dressed up to take the picture, and that was pretty much it. So yeah, and froze our butts off yesterday.
I know it was
Yeah.
so cold.
It turned winter again.
Yeah, like last night it was like 25 degrees. I had to
Yeah.
turn the heat back up. I was like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah, same,
Yeah.
pretty much. Hey, it was a surprisingly busy weekend for me. Like
What'd you
good
do?
busy, but so like Friday was another improv work show.
Cool.
So we got together and did that, and then several of the folks who were on that call, a few of them have become members since I left, but they wanted to keep hanging out. So one of them had created like this faux Jeopardy thing, and was going to play with a couple of the other ones, and so some of us stuck around to just kind of listen and watch and enjoy. One of the questions being Lotar related, they said to mention every member of the fellowship, which as an audience member, I crushed.
Oh.
I totally crushed
Oh
it.
man.
Oh, can I try? Can I
Yeah,
try?
go for it.
Do you know how many are there? First of all,
There's
9.
the 9. Yeah.
9. Okay. So there's the hobbits. There's Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin. Then there's the humans, so Strider and Aragorn. Then
Those are the same person.
So yeah, sorry. Boromir, Strider, Boromir. No. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm geeking out.
Well, that's 5.
Legolas,
Mm-hmm.
Gimli,
Uh-huh.
and Gandalf.
Yeah.
9. What did you miss, Tim?
No, I got all of them.
Oh, okay, good.
No, I got all of
Nice.
them. I also even I went further. I named like
Ooh.
full names, with the exception of like Boromir and Aragorn.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Like I did like Peregrine
Peregrine
Took
Took,
and
Mary
Mary Brandybuck.
Brandybuck.
Yep.
Dang.
Good lord.
Oh yeah.
Yay, Lotar nerds.
Yeah. But yeah, so we did that, and then we played a round of, stuck around to play a round of Never Have I Ever, and then a new one that I've never played, which is basically the same but kind of reverse, called Step the F Up. Basically, it's basically like something that you have done, kind of like a humble brag, and then like if somebody else has done it, they like put their, they join in until like one person is left. And so that was pretty much Friday night, and I may have had too much in the way of alcoholic beverages, And on a fasting day, that's even worse. So
Oh yeah.
it hit me very hard, very fast.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can believe it.
despite, at least according to my buddy Josh, I didn't embarrass myself, which is good.
Good.
It was
Yeah.
a good time. And then let's see, Saturday was
We
what, like a
played
six
D&D.
6 hours D&D sesh.
It was almost 7 hours, but yeah. We played like all day. We played from like 4:30 to like almost 11:30. So
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It was good. It was a great session.
Nice.
It was a good.
It
We
was
didn't
insane.
even make it through the dungeon.
I know. Most of the way, but
We
not
got
all
almost
of the
there.
way.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we knew it was going to be a longer session anyway.
Right. Yep.
But so that was Saturday pretty much, and
Yeah,
then
that was all Saturday. That was
Yeah.
all.
pretty much like I slept and then we did D&D. That's it.
Right. And then I watched
Um,
some TV and slept some more.
Yeah, basically. And then yesterday was pretty much just kind of getting chores done around the house, and ended up doing a. I've been talking with a buddy of mine from Murder on the Orient Express, which Scott, which I didn't realize you went to school with him, Gus. Scott Snyder.
Oh yeah. Yep. I did.
With him and Grant and Timmery. So he and I have had kind of our first kind of video conference yesterday, trying to work out some brainstorming stuff to write a radio drama.
Nice.
Nice.
Good.
I am probably
That's
for the
awesome.
moment going to try and do one that's already established, just to get something out there.
That makes
But
sense.
so we're working on. I think we're leaning towards something more on the humorous end, and I think we're trying to throw in like science fiction elements into it. So
Cool.
I might bring you in on that because you're a good idea man. I'm good at bouncing
like
off of other
ideas.
people, so I may bring you in the next call. I think sometime this week that'll happen. And then
Sounds great.
Devin and I started a Bond marathon.
Ah.
Ooh. There's
So
a lot of Bonds to watch.
there are, I
Nice.
think he said 25 of them.
And we're
Holy cow.
getting a new Bond movie this year.
That's what I
sometime.
heard.
Yeah. The last one with Daniel Craig, right?
I
I
believe
think so. Yeah, I haven't seen. I didn't see Spectre. That was the last one I saw. The last new one I saw was Skyfall, which I thought was fantastic.
I liked that one.
Yep.
I liked that one.
I haven't seen many of the Bond films. Not that I'm just. It's not that I'm not a huge Bond fan. I just like never.
It's a fairly predictable pattern
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
you've started. I was so into it in middle school,
Mm-hmm.
back when like
That'd been probably like the Pierce Brosnan.
Blockbuster
era.
was still a thing.
Oh yeah.
Like we would go to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, and I would just get the next Bond movie. And I remember the only one that my parents were a little like, should we let him watch this? Was Octopussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the name.
Yeah.
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 Which
But-
to be a fun note. Do you know what the plural for octopus is?
Octopi?
Incorrect. It's octopodes.
Oh, that's so cool.
What?
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's octopodes.
Octo-
Had no idea.
I learned that from my one of the members of my improv group back when I was in Lawrence.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah. So we started like I've seen a handful. I think I've seen 2 or 3 of the Sean Connery ones. I know I've seen a couple of Pierce Brosnan. I might have seen one of the Roger Moore, and then I've seen most of the Daniel Craig, or I guess half of the Daniel Craig. So I don't know. He's a big Bond fan. Like he apparently grew up watching it on Spike TV.
Oh wow.
So like he has like
Yep.
like the Blu-ray collection, and
Oh, nice.
so he has all those. And thankfully, like pretty much all of them, if not all of them, are on both Hulu and Amazon.
Yeah. Hulu's got
Really?
a lot. Of
They're
them.
on Hulu?
Hulu has
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Hulu
Like
has
the old
a
ones.
James Bond section.
Yeah. They have a.
That's awesome.
They have
I
a
had no
lot
idea.
of the old ones. Like
Yeah,
the
they do.
old ones.
It's pretty much like the original one. Like we watched Doctor No last night.
Yeah.
It's pretty much from there up until like I think through all of the
Pierce
Pierce
Brosnan.
Brosnan, which I think was
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
last one,
that
which
makes
was Die
sense.
Another Day. I think with Halle Berry,
Yep.
which is like the one
Yep.
I remember seeing, and that's like the worst one.
Yeah.
Uh,
Those classic ones are great. Like Goldfinger. I mean, that's just like totally classic.
In high school, we did
Diamonds Are
a
Forever.
marching band show. So like we watched all of the
Oh.
movies that we had like music out of,
oh, that's
and
cool.
then we had a marching show that covered like
Nice.
multiple different Bond movies. So
Yeah,
that
that's
was
kind of cool. Did you guys do like formations and stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. Our high school marching band was actually a pretty decent sized marching band. Even though we
Nice.
came from a smaller school, we still had enough people we could march and compete. So
That's impressive.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I wish I had been a band person so I could have participated, but I was just an orc dork over there just bowing away. So.
Is it bad that my immediate thought, like I know you were talking about orchestra, I'm just picturing like an orc version of you with like glasses and like a pocket protector
That's
and like
hilarious.
notes.
Oh, goodness. Speaking of Daniel Craig, Hannah and I watched Knives Out.
Yeah, was that
that's
good?
based on
Oh,
Agatha
my
Christie,
gosh.
yeah?
Is it?
It's supposed to be.
I had no idea. It was fantastic. I know the guy who wrote it is working on a sequel, and it was. We watched a lot of the recent adaptations of Agatha Christie novels, and
I still need to watch the And Then There Were None. That's on my list.
yeah, Hannah and I watched that, and we enjoyed that.
Yeah, because I still have yet to see a version that's true to the book. So
This one was pretty true to the book, I think.
That's
But
good.
Knives Out, I want to say it could be based on an Agatha Christie, but it's definitely like an original script.
Okay, it might just be inspired by.
Yeah, it does have some things that remind me of Agatha Christie, but there's kind I don't know. It was just a really cool original take on murder mystery type stuff.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
What's that on?
Where did we watch that? Was it on Amazon? I think it's on Amazon,
Cool.
but I'm not totally sure.
Okay,
But yeah, definitely comes with my recommendation. You seen it, Amber?
No, I haven't.
No. Oh yeah, definitely.
that's one that was highly recommended to me.
Right, I'd seen the
while back.
previews. I'd seen the previews a lot because like we had gone to the movies a couple of times before like all of this nonsense started happening. So I remember seeing like the previews for it and being like, man, I kind of want to go watch that.
It's just really good. There's a lot about it that I thought it was more of a comedy thing, and there is definitely comedic elements. But yeah, it's good.
I wonder how movies are doing now that like theaters are closed. Like I've seen some that have like solely made their debut like via
Right.
streaming.
Yeah,
And I wonder how they're like
gonna recover.
collecting their like box office ratings and like ticket sales and stuff like that
I
to see
know
if the movie.
think
one
AMC
example that I
is-
know a little bit about is Onward. It did not do well in theaters when it first came out.
Right.
Quite poorly, in fact. And I don't think they're gonna. Those Pixar movies have huge budgets. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Massive.
I think that Onward.
Super,
I think
super
it had a
massive.
$200 million budget.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
it's
Which for an animated
crazy.
film, I mean, you could make dozens of
insane.
other animated films for that.
Oh
amount of
yeah,
money.
Right.
definitely.
But yeah, I don't think they've recapped their expenses yet. But they, I think they're finding a lot more success now that they're streaming it.
Did that one actually have time to come out?
It
Through
did.
theaters?
Yeah, I
'cause
think it was
'cause
in
my
theaters
brother
for a
saw it
week
in
or two.
theaters,
Gotcha.
several weeks ago, or
So-
like probably a month and a half ago.
So it's
It-
like one of those that had enough time to be out for like a week, and then they were like, we're
Yeah.
closing the theaters now.
Which I think, with the exception of Toy Story 4, that's the most recent one I've seen because I didn't end up seeing. I've not. Wait, is Frozen considered Pixar? That's just Disney.
No,
right?
it's just Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the last one I haven't seen Good Dinosaur yet. And I don't know if I
think
saw
we
the one
watched
before
that. That was pretty good.
Man, a Pixar film? How far back was it that I watched Pixar?
I think before that it was Toy Story 3 was like the most recent one I'd watched.
I
Story
feel
4.
like
Well, I mean before that one.
Oh, okay. Did you watch the one with the emotions? Whatever it's
yeah, I
called.
was gonna say I think that might
Inside
have been
Out.
the
Oh
the
yeah,
latest
that one happened when I was at Wesleyan still. So I do remember watching
Okay.
that one.
That I loved that one.
That one is
That's-
really, really
that's one of
good.
my
Man,
favorites.
the only reason I watched that one is because I was still working at the YMCA, I'm pretty sure, and we like took all the kids to it.
Did you cry?
Gotcha.
That's been so long. No, I was too busy wrangling children to like really get into a movie.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I get that.
Yeah.
We rewatched Brave, and
Oh,
Hannah and I
okay.
have this theory that the only reason Brave didn't really catch on is because it was totally outperformed by I just about said How I Met Your Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. I did go and watch that, but that's a DreamWorks
yeah, that one
production,
is.
isn't it?
I've seen the first one. I've not seen the second.
Oh my God, they're all so great. There's more than two.
They
There's
are.
like three.
Are there?
now.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they're all fantastic.
There's a
And
TV show that goes with it too, and it's actually pretty good also.
I really like Brave. I think it didn't do as well as it probably would have if How to Train Your Dragon had it come out.
Yeah.
I think How to Train Your Dragon is a better movie.
Yes.
But my favorite thing about Brave that I think is forgotten is how good the music is. There's this lady, Julie Fowlis, and she's from. Now I'm forgetting if it's Scotland or Ireland. Oh no, I'm gonna say Scotland. But she sings. I could be wrong, but I think this was the first time she ever recorded a song in English.
Oh,
She recorded
cool.
2 songs for that, and all of her other stuff is in the traditional language.
Oh, the traditional
Wow.
Gaelic.
Whatever. Yeah, Gaelic. There it is.
That's awesome.
So I've had those 2 songs on my playlist and stuff since that movie first came out. I just love them.
That's
Nice.
awesome. I think
I do like that one.
it's also a unique story that hasn't necessarily been overdone. That's kind of a reason I also like Brave.
Well, it's also nice to not have like a female protagonist that like the main driving force isn't like love or that she has to be rescued or some crap like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much kind of.
She's a kick butt
Oh,
protagonist.
definitely.
I think they're doing better and that more often because like Moana was also pretty good.
Oh, I loved Moana. That
Right.
was such a good movie.
I was
I
very
still
happy
watch
with
that
the
movie.
fact that it wasn't the traditional like plot.
Yep.
Moana, I just loved Jermaine Clement's
Yeah, it's a crab.
contribution.
Yeah.
It's just-
I'll admit I didn't like that song when I first heard it. Shiny.
Yeah.
it has grown on me
Same.
exponentially.
Yeah.
I didn't I knew that voice, but I didn't know who it was until I think you told me, Tim, and then I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Makes total
Well,
sense.
it's hard. Like
yeah.
it's Jermaine Clement. You know, Fly the Conchords. You can't ignore.
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Which reminds me, I
Brilliant.
still need to watch.
It combines music and New Zealand, 2 of my favorite things.
Whoa.
It's
Gus
true.
sold
I still need to
immediately.
watch their What We Do in the Shadows show.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is that's the one about vampires, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a movie way back in the I don't know 2000s, probably early 2000s maybe.
Oh gosh, there were so many vampire movies early 2000s.
Everywhere.
Can we?
So this
can
one,
we
okay.
just
So
note
if you've
that?
never seen it, What We Do in the Shadows, it's absolutely fantastic. It's oh god, I can't think of the actual name of the person who wrote it. But Jermaine Clement was involved. If you've ever seen the Fly the Conchord show, the guy that was like their, for lack of a better way to put it, their band manager Murray.
Yes.
Yeah, Murray Chick. He's one of the werewolves, and he said, as he says, "Come on, we're werewolves, not swearwolves."
Of course.
But it's absolutely hilarious, this movie, and like I love that they divide like they actually divide the different types of vampires. So like amongst their group is like one like Nosferatu style vampire who's like the oldest of their kind and like does nothing, just kind of like skulks around
my
the house.
God.
And like if you've never seen it, you need
That's
to watch it. It
hilarious.
is absolutely freaking hilarious.
Is there a TV show by that same name?
Yes,
that's
there
out now?
is.
Okay, I've seen that.
Okay, I have not started watching that, although I do know Matt Berry is in it. And you would know him if you've been watching IT Crowd. He's the one who ends up playing the next boss after he plays
The
Douglas.
first boss. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He's in that. He's also been in like Matt Berry is a very unique personality, to say the least, and very unique voice as well. But he's been in a lot of like he's in the IT Crowd. He was in one called Glenn Morangi's Dark Place, which I need to actually watch. It's like a 6-episode show that's all on YouTube. Very bizarre. He's in something called Toast of London, which I've seen like an episode or 2 of. It's been recommended to me a lot more. But Matt Berry is also in the new What We Do in the Shadows show as one of the vampires, I believe, and he's funny. There's no other way to say it.
It's a pretty entertaining show. I've only seen an episode or 2, but I don't know why it fell off my playlist, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably catch up with it again.
I kind of have that with Ash versus the Evil Dead. Like I've seen, I think season 1, and I love Evil Dead. I just haven't gotten back around
Right.
to it for whatever reason.
Let's. I think we have time for a question or two here.
Okay.
And I have a question that popped up. What app or website completely changed your life?
Oh God.
Probably the biggest impact would be, for lack of a better way to say it, probably Facebook in the long run, quite honestly.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
so much,
a
not
good
necessarily just
answer.
connecting to people, but like that's like any show that I've been a part of for the past decade. We always organize stuff through that, and the same goes for like all the improv stuff I do and everything else.
I would also say Facebook probably, but the first thing that came into my mind was Groove Shark. Did you ever hear of Groove Shark?
Yes.
It was like Apple Music before Apple Music was
Uh-huh.
a thing.
Oh yeah, do you guys
where-
remember LimeWire?
Yeah.
Oh,
I used to
yeah.
LimeWire. I used to pirate music all the time.
My brother and
I
I did
liked-
too.
Groove Shark was just so much easier for me. You don't have to download anything. It's not filled with sketchy things. Like, yeah, I just loved,
Yeah.
and I loved. You had like different skins you could put over the whole website,
Huh.
so you could change it so it looked. And now it makes me so sad. Every once in a while, I'll just go look, and they took the website down a few years ago.
Oh, man.
Aw.
Yeah, after they got sued too many times
Right.
for
That-
illegally.
It kind of sounds like Spotify, but illegal.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It was the
definitely.
illegal first version, or maybe just earlier version of Spotify.
Yeah. I would say along with that, probably YouTube. I've spent countless hours watching stuff on YouTube.
Yep. Yep.
I really discovered YouTube in full about 5 years ago. I had been on it before that, obviously, but
Right.
but at that point, I started finding like all these channels that I loved, and really, I mean, there was some time there where I spent 5-6 hours a day on YouTube, which thankfully that's come way down since.
Yeah.
But
No,
Yeah.
I get it. Like there's just so much content on there. Like as of late, like earlier this year, I've told you about it before. Like I found Wheezy Waiter, which is like one of the OG. Like he's been on YouTube since like the beginning.
Forever. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
wow,
And he's one that, like, I know that I've seen his stuff like way back in the day, mostly
Yep.
because of his phrase like "link in the doobly doo."
Yep.
I remember hearing that like years
Yep.
ago. Yeah, that's what he would call the description.
Because there
Oh,
wasn't
that's
really
so
a name
funny.
for it. It was
Yeah.
just like below this video somewhere. There's gonna be a link. You should find it and click it. So.
Yeah, and like so he's one of like the original like YouTubers, and like I know that I've heard him back in, but like I don't know what it is like until this year. Maybe it's just the stuff he's been putting out recently.
Right.
Like yesterday, I spent like I don't know a solid hour just like watching his videos, or letting him play in the background as I was doing things anyway.
Honestly, I think the first website that came to mind for me was actually MySpace, and I think that's because the design elements you could truly design your own page, and it was like you could open the coding of the page and insert all kinds of like cool plugins and things like that. So like companies were actually like programming little bits that you could like copy and paste into the programming of your page, and it would make it do cool stuff. Like you could have like little pets on your MySpace page where you could like click and it would throw a ball across your screen and your pet would run after it. Like I think that's probably what got me like the most interested in like graphic design or like layout design. Just
I never
because-
actually
why
had a
did
MySpace.
they do
but
away with MySpace? Like
Well, Facebook just became super popular, I think. But
Yeah,
that just sounds so much more enjoyable than Facebook is.
it
now.
was
Yeah.
honestly because
well,
you
weren't
could
you able to
design
like
everything.
even like have music playing? Like when someone
Yeah.
would visit your page, you could have like, the anthem or something. Like
Yep. You could change everything. You could make the background different. The only thing that didn't change was like the format. There was like a little bar across the top of the screen that had like your like go back links and your friends page links and all that stuff. But like
and there was always Tom.
everything else was fair game. Like you could change the background of the page, you could change the music, you could change the font, you could change like pretty much the overall layout. You could like rearrange like where the like packages of information were. But it was pretty well all designable. And I think that like Facebook, one, just the accessibility of it, and the fact that it was more built around like having a lot of friend connections rather than just the friends you knew, kind of kicked MySpace out a little bit.
Yeah.
MySpace then turned into like a music. That was kind of like their niche. They like picked it up and they were like, "Hey, we'll allow like bands and stuff to have like band pages, and we'll allow them to like upload a bunch of their music and stuff." And then, so like MySpace was kind of like, I don't know, it was strange there for a little bit. It was kind of like the DeviantArt of like band websites instead of like art websites. And then it just kind of all together died out because people figured out they could make band pages on their Facebook. So
Wow.
Yeah, I never actually had a MySpace. I remember. I do remember when I got a Facebook, and I believe in either probably high school when that happened. But I remember, I think it was like my brother was like trying to get something so I wouldn't bother him. So he was like, "Here, create a Facebook," and so I was like, "Okay." And so like I remember at that time, for quite a while, they had like bulletin boards where like it was like a virtual cork board, and you could have like different pins and stuff. That
You must have been on there well
it.
before I was.
It was like super early stages of Facebook.
Yep, I think I got one like between 6th and 7th grade because my friend was moving away, and she was like, "Hey, let's both just make a Facebook page, and then we can chat with each other, and it'll be no big deal." So we both got a Facebook page when she moved, and we were pretty young.
It was a tremendous waste of. It still is a tremendous waste of time.
I don't want to know how much time in my life I've spent on Facebook. I really
Dude,
don't.
if somebody were to calculate that and tell me, I would probably just crap. I would be done.
Yeah, you would just remove yourself from society, go out in the woods, build a cabin.
Right. Well, because I use it for marketing too. Like it's just not my personal page anymore. Like I do so much on Facebook that's just related to things that I do that it's just crazy.
Oh yeah, like by far anymore, it's become anything but like a personal thing. I mean, there are still people like I still post things that are of interest to me, but like if I'm in a show or something, it's all about like advertising. Because like I will put that out there that I'm doing this, you should come see it or something like that.
Right.
And anymore, you really even as a business, you can't. It's become such a normal thing in our society.
Like, when people look for your business, 9 times out of 10, they're going to search for it on Facebook before they even Google it, which is terrible. It's crazy.
So we're like that, and like Instagram, and whatever else is out there. It's become such an integral part of our society, which is so weird to me. Because like I remember like pre-social social networking. And it just seems so weird.
It does. Well, on that somewhat strange note, I think we'll call it there for today. Thank you very much for tuning in today. One thing I want to mention is that my wife and I put together a music video kind of thing for one of her songs on her marimba. It's a really neat song called "Strive to Be Happy," and it's accompanied by a poem. And so we recorded both over the weekend, and so we'll be posting that on this channel as well. So stay tuned for that. And I know we've got other things coming this week. So thanks a lot. Like and subscribe if you like the video, and if you want to be notified every time we come out with a new video, please hit that notification bell. From all of us here at Fili, have a great day.
See ya.
Bye.